Good morning, Knicks Nation. Today is Friday. Happy Friday, the 21st day of November, 2025. I hope you're all safe and healthy today. I hope your family's safe and healthy and that the needs of you and your family in terms of food, shelter, clothing, as well as health are being met today. Blessings upon those that work in the area of health, along with first responders every day putting their lives on the line to save lives. Those also that pick up garbage to keep our places clean, and those that make deliveries for our convenience. Double blessings on the men and women trying to help rescue, deliver, and recover teenagers and children victims of child molestation and pedophilia. The people that are here trying to help those that are victims of prostitution and child prostitution, victims of pornography and victims of child pornography, human trafficking and sex slavery. Double curses on all the perpetrators of these things, all the profiteers of these things, and all those perverts that create the demand that caused these industries to exist. Finally, blessings upon the homeless. More than 700,000 men, women, children, families, senior citizens, and military veterans homeless in the United States of America. Blessings upon them, for theirs is the kingdom. There's going to be a basketball game in Orlando, Florida tomorrow. The New York Knicks will be visiting the Orlando Magic to take on the team that beat them earlier this year. The team that caused Jalen Brunson to go one-on-one against the whole team and threw off the whole Knicks organization. Some people talking about, why are you being critical of Brunson? Any player that screws up, that's supposed to be the head of the snake, is going to get criticized. Is what it is. What many people still don't understand is I don't go by, there's only really two players that I'm just rooting for because I like them. And even them, I like them because they help us win. And that's the bottom line. Are we winning? If it's not about winning, I ain't watching. Period. So, yeah, Brunson screwed up the last time they played Orlando and messed the whole team up and caused us the game. Hopefully, tomorrow, he will learn from this experience. He is an intelligent young man. And he will play more of a team-oriented game. And he will play off the ball, which is the focus of the Mike Brown offense. Getting Brunson off the ball. Making him harder to guard. Let him run through all kinds of screens all over the floor and make quick decisions with the ball. He has already shown he can do this at a high level. So it's not like we need to understand whether he can or not. He can. The question is, will he? So hopefully from the last Orlando Magic game, we will get to see that Jalen Brunson. Very important for us to win with that Jalen Brunson. Okay. Now, with respect to the standings, very interesting standings. The Knicks now stand third in the East, tied with Cleveland. The Knicks are slightly ahead of Cleveland, having beaten them and having the better differential at 5.9. And Detroit has won 11 straight, and they're streaking, they're playing good basketball. This is the thing, though. What we must understand is that it's very rare that a team keeps that level of intense winning up for the whole season. It's historical. It happens so rarely. You know, you saw Chicago do it a few years. You saw Golden State do it. So it is possible. They don't go 82-0, but they win a whole bunch of games, like, I don't say, a good 80% of their games. Right now, Detroit is winning at an 87% clip. I don't think it's sustainable. So I expect Detroit to come back to the pack a little bit. But they're still going to be there in the top four at the end, and they're still going to be a tough out in the playoffs. That's Detroit. Then there's Toronto, who is in second right now. I like Toronto. Of course, our boys, once a Nick, always a Nick. RJ is there. IQ is there. They got a nice squad. Scotty Barnes, B.I., nice pole in the middle. I don't trust them for the long term, though. I don't think they're going to be there at the end. And so I'm not worried about Toronto. They could win a lot more games. Hope they play well, but I don't trust them for the staying power of an 82-game season. So the Knicks going to move up eventually because the Knicks, as we are discussing, have a lot of upside. Okay, they're not playing their best ball yet. They're still learning the Mike Brown offense. They're still figuring out the defense. You know, there's a lot of upside. And they're doing a lot of good things without OG. So OG will be back, hopefully, and will not continue to hurt itself. So then we will have an improved team. The Knicks have staying power. The depth is what the difference between the teams that will have staying power and teams that won't is health and depth. The Knicks have the depth. Can they remain healthy? Hopefully they can. They're doing everything they can to keep Mitchell Robinson healthy and in the lineup, which is good. And so, yeah, and then Brunson's tough, Hart's tough, Deuce is tough. All of them are tough hombres, so they'll be around. And then, of course, you got OG, who strong as a brick doo-doo house, but not always as durable as we already knew. So I'm hoping we can get OG for at least 65, 70 games and ready for the playoffs, and that'll be good. But the Knicks have all of the makings of a championship team and the staying power of a championship team. Miami's going to be there at the end because it's Eric Spoelstra in Miami. So they're going to be there at the end. I don't care what they have. Philly, last night, I watched Philly come back and beat Milwaukee. And the thing that makes Philly better than I anticipated is they are no longer dependent on Joel Embiid. That's huge. That's huge. Every team has a guy that they're dependent on. We're dependent on Jalen Brunson, okay? Period. We are. We can miss him for a few games as we did, and we can come out all right because we got enough depth. But Philly has now Grimy, Q-Dog, they have Edgecombe, they have McCain, and they got Maxey. Last night, Maxey dropped 54, and some of them baskets was ridiculous. I watched the game. Ridiculous. Like, there's no way he should have got them baskets, but he's that good. He was splitting double teams like he playing against high school dudes. This is the league. He was splitting double teams like this. Who's there? Nobody. And going to the basket with speed like we know. So Philly got a chance to be where I didn't think they would because of that. They're guard-oriented. Nurse is using that guard orientation, and they can more than survive without Embiid. Now, they also got PG-13, and he was there last night. But he wasn't like the focus. He wasn't the dude that you was like, oh, they got PG-13. No, it was them guards. Edgecombe, Grimy, Maxey, McCain. They was doing their business. Now, last night, Paul George had 21 efficient points. And that's what it was. It was efficient. He was a solid player. He's like, for them, he's like our Mikal. He's like their Mikal Bridges. That's what he is. And that's really good, right? Not a superstar, but somebody you need. They were using Drummond, and they were using Walford, and they were using Barlow. Barlow played the majority of minutes at the 5 last night because Drummond got in foul trouble. So their 5 spot is not that strong, but they don't need to be because they got so much talent at the guard spot on the wing with Maxey, Edgecombe, Q-Dog, McCain. Q-Dog and McCain came off the bench. Q-Dog, they gave him 14. I counted 15, but they gave him 14. He didn't shoot the ball particularly well until the fourth quarter when they needed it. Yeah, Philly's going to be all right. They got something going over there. So I'm not worried about them taking the East, but they can upset the Knicks or anybody and knock you out the playoffs when you was expecting to make a run, because that's where we at right now. We're trying to get a run going, and we trying to make a long run into the finals. They can upset that apple cart. They're going to be there. Cleveland is Cleveland, and Cleveland has been the same since they got Donovan Mitchell, which means they have really bang out regular seasons, and they peter out in the playoffs. First, second round, they peter out. Okay? I'm not seeing anything different. Mobley has become what I thought he was going to become. He's that dude. Mitchell is still that dude, playing in his prime. But Garland is in and out of the lineup. Jared Allen is tremendous against certain teams and disappears against others. They need Max Strus back, and they're going to get him. Max Strus is a gamer, two-way player, and a big-time gamer. So they'll be there, and they, again, can upset the apple cart. But I'm favoring our Knicks in any 7-game series against them. Watch the Magic, though. The Magic is a good team, period. Talented. The only thing stops them is injuries, right? And that's been their Achilles heel the last couple of years. But this year, they are slowly building up their team in terms of health and getting their team where they need it to be. Like right now, on their injured list, for the Magic, they got Paolo Banchero, right? They don't have a timetable for him to come back, but he'll be back. Mo Wagner is going to probably be back, I would say, by the All-Star break, because he's been working real hard to get back, like Kyrie for Dallas. He'll be back, and Paolo Banchero is going to be back at some point. But in the meantime, them cats are balling. Last night, they not only beat the Clippers, they destroyed the Clippers with Harden, but no Kawhi. But that's the problem with the Clippers. They could never get their so-called big three together. That's the problem with the Clippers. So last night they had John Collins, Zubac, Harden, Chris Dunn, Kobe Sanders, Nicholas Batum, who else? Yannick, somebody. Chris Paul, oh my God. And some of y'all wanted Chris Paul here, ancient. And then there's Bodega 44 is on their team. He played 21. See, they depended on too many has-beens. If you're there's veterans and then there's has-beens. These are has-beens. So Chris Paul played 23 minutes last night, got 4 points, was minus 12. Bodega 44, he played 21 minutes, has 6 points, minus 7. They'll hit big shots, sometimes, and maybe in the playoffs, but they ain't got enough to get you over the hump. Well, anyway, they depended on James Harden and the part-time Kawhi Leonard, who is part-time. See, Knicks fan, some of y'all get caught up in fantasy and gambling crap, and you be wanting these players that we don't need on our team. I wouldn't want Kawhi Leonard if you gave him to me. But some of y'all would trade half the team for that fool. No, he's a part-time player. When he plays, he's good. He's like a Jaguar. When he ain't in the shop, he's smooth. But when is he not in the shop? Anyway, they got destroyed 129-101 by Orlando last night. Orlando, Franz Wagner, De Silva, Wendell Carter, Desmond Bain, Suggs. They're going Jonathan Isaac, Bitadze, who I wasn't giving no shot. The boy playing. And then, of course, Tyus Jones, Anthony Black. We know him. And then they got Jet Howard. All these cats, man. And that's without Paolo. So they're going to be tough. And remember, they last beat us. Paolo got hurt early in the game against us. And we ain't see him after the first quarter. And they still beat our ass. Why? Because Brunson tried to take on the whole team. Jamal Mosley is too smart. You can't be doing that. He will make you pay. Jamal Mosley's a damn good coach. And I'm talking about there's a difference between being a good coach in college like Jay Wright and being a good coach in the league. Some of y'all was laughing Jay Wright to come to the Knicks. Some of y'all need to get off that crap, man. That's college. This is the league. Jamal Mosley knows how to coach in the league. Like, I wouldn't ask Thibodeau to go to college. Thibodeau would be like the second coming of the Indiana coach that used to beat up players and mess. Bobby Knight. That'd be Thibodeau in college. You don't want to see Thibodeau in college. Thibodeau's the league. He's in the league. He knows how to coach in the league. You may not like his style, but he know what he's doing in the league. He got his game plan. Well, Jamal Mosley's like that too. Okay? And you can't come in there playing ego games against him. He will trap you, beat your ass, and then have his team win. So, we got to have the Knicks come correct against them. Ball movement. Last night, they had 51 rebounds, 32 assists, only 10 turnovers, 12 steals, 12 offensive boards. They thoroughly beat the Clippers down. So we got to come correct tomorrow. Jalen Brunson needs to lead the charge. Ball movement, off ball, play some defense. We know you ain't no all-NBA defender. Play some damn defense, though. Keep them out the paint. Suggs was killing them last night. Suggs was getting into the paint when he wanted to last night. He ended up with 7 assists. But there's a lot of spray outs that didn't score. It was like hockey assists. The ball was moving. That's why they had 32 assists last night. Jalen, got to keep that boy out the paint. Shamet, I'm not worried about him defensively. We know what he's going to do. Shamet, McCall sometimes starts off slow. And a couple of times, he got benched in the fourth quarter, if you recall. And sometimes, it's hard to gauge him. But usually in the fourth quarter, McCall is ready, which is why when the reporters, of course, asked him to try to start a narrative of negativity, which is what they usually do. How come you was not in the game in the fourth? And he said, I don't know. Because McCall could be playing with his head up his behind a long time. And then all of a sudden he could wake up. In fourth quarter, that Villanova stuff comes out. And then all of a sudden he's doing that particular game. He wasn't even permitted to do that. Because Coach Brown said, oh, you ain't balling, get out. And he sat him down. McCall got come correct from the tip. And that's what Jalen Brunson once said. When he was directing it at McCall and Juju, when they was both, well, he said, if the game's at 7, you should be ready to play at 7. Not 7:30, not 7:45, not 8, 7. Bridges needs to understand that. This game starts at 5. Be ready to play at 5. No turnovers, no stupid passes, no getting lost on defense. For some reason, be ready. At 5, road runner. That's how that's supposed to flow. We gotta come correct. Orlando ain't no joke. They're going to be there at the end unless, they start getting the injury bug. But I think with the young players, like I'm talking about a De Silva, a Bain too. Bain's a daggone roughneck. He's going to be there. But De Silva, Anthony Black, Jet Howard, it's dudes like that. Batazzi, that's what makes them tough. Paolo's tough. Franz Wagner's tough. Suggs is tough. But they got these depth that makes them very difficult. So, the Knicks got to come correct against them tomorrow in Orlando. They got a day off. The Orlando Magic, they just beat last night, like I said, the Clippers. They off today. They still at home. It's a home stand for them. We coming into their house. We could beat them now. It ain't like they that much better than us. It ain't like they better than us at all. But if you're not on your game, this is the league, and they will beat you. So, got to come correct. I like Deuce to continue to be aggressive. He ain't always going to go 3 of 10. Sometimes he's going to go 6 of 10. See? But he needs to be doing 10. Throwing that ball up in the air, baby. And when it starts to fall for us, we're going to be happy. Then there's Clarkson, the street baller. Clarkson's like West 4th Street. Clarkson's like Rucker, street baller from the bricks. You need him to be him too. Right? Then, of course, there's Charlie Hustle, Josh Hart, who's going to be. Josh Hart you can depend on. He may make some stupid passes and throw some stupid turnovers sometimes. But one thing for sure, he's going to dive on the daggone floor and get the ball. He's going to jump between bigger dudes and get the basketball. That's what he's going to do. And don't let him be hitting that 3 like he was doing the other day. That's kind of like gravy. You don't expect that from Josh Hart. You expect him to do the one-man fast break off the defensive rebound. You expect him to make steals. You expect him to dive on the floor for the ball. But when he's hitting that 3, we tough to beat. Now, Mitch Rob just needs to be Mitch Rob. And he's been being Mitch Rob. He leads the NBA in offensive rebounding. Enough said. And he does guard the rim. Some people whining about his foul shooting. Stop whining. We're all right. But he does his job. And he needs to continue to do that. So, once again, the Knicks can beat this team. Now, Yabusele is still getting acclimated. I had some immature 15-year-olds coming on my channel saying he stinks, and I promptly erased their comment. You got to give the boy a little chance. Some of y'all little kids that you can't see past the next 24 hours. And you can't even remember past the last 24 hours. But this is an 82-game season. Let's let the boy get the chance to settle in, get used to his new environment, get used to his bag. And, he could be big for us down the stretch. Now, the last game, he was positive because he played some big defensive minutes. If he can do that again, and when eventually start knocking down a little bit of his three-pointers, we're going to be in good shape. So, let's be patient. I know. Talking patience to Nick Nation is like talking kryptonite to Superman. No. But anyway, that's what we need. So, big game tomorrow. I'm going to be able to watch that one. Sun is setting earlier these days, so I might catch it at 6, but they ain't missing nothing. That's last game. I was out here doing something for somebody, and I caught the game after an hour late, and I only missed most of the first quarter. I caught even the end of the first quarter. This game's on NBA TV, so I'll be able to watch it. I did have to sign up for FanDuel here in Florida, just in case. But big game tomorrow. Big game tomorrow. Going into Orlando and beating the Magic ain't no easy thing. Ain't no giving. We rooting for our squad, though. Y'all fellas be ready. Everybody here, please be safe. Enjoy your weekend. Shalom.